I got some audio.
Good morning, Mr. Shaman. Can you hear me okay? All right. So can you hear me? Thumbs up, maybe he needs to go over his microphone. Check this out.
I have to go to the microphone. Exactly.
Yes, you can hear us.
I can hear you. You can hear me.
Yeah, you sound good. Yeah. Yes, this is our classroom. We have some 8th graders, and then we invited some of our 6th and 7th graders. So we have about, I don't know, 30 kids or so and some teachers with us today.
All right. I'm excited. Welcome to the jam space. Here it is.
Yeah, what are we looking at here? You're in Portland, right?
Yep. I'm in close in downtown Portland. I got a little practice space that get a beautiful view out here. The sun's about to come out. It looks like, which is nice.
Nice.
Where we do our jamming at. But neighbors are all bands.
Awesome. Well, we can't hear you too well for some reason.
I can turn it up. I can turn it up.
Like right now I can hear you, but before it was a little bit hard to hear you. See what you think.
I was going with minimal volume before, and it's just I didn't overpower. Does it sound a little better?
Yeah, it sounds a little better. So students, if that's too loud on your end, you just need to turn your mic or your speakers down just a little bit. But like for what I'm hearing, I set it up. It sounds great on my end. So I think it's working.
Cool. Yeah, I noticed when you have to put the volume at maybe 50% or something like that because it does get loud, especially when the Didge gets fired up. So, all right, Vlad, we're good. Sound check. 1, 2.
Yeah, you got to do that, right? Well, hey, welcome to our class again. Here's the deal. Every week we discover a new style of music or an instrument or just some genre or era, whatever it may be. And this week has been all about reggae and funk. So we've kind of blended some styles together and done some cool things. And what would you consider the didgeridoo? Does that fit into some of those styles, would you say?
I've always heard the didgeridoo can play with any genre of music. That's because it's a 40,000-year-old instrument. It's one of the world's oldest instruments. And so the way it works, it's kind of at the root of all music. So that's why I've always tried to mix the didgeridoo with every genre I possibly could. So our set has some funk, it has some reggae, it has hip hop, it has electronica. We even have some grunge didgeridoo that we can do, like some good old fashioned rock and roll. So yeah, didgeridoo can be anything because it's basically the world's oldest instrument.
Sweet. Well, what we're hoping for is that you can jam a little bit and then we can ask you some questions and a little more jamming and a little more questions. And then we're like totally inspired by the shaman and we can go on with the rest of our lives knowing we've been blessed by your experience with us.
Rock and roll. All right. Cool. Well, I'll do a little demo then because, and then, answer any questions you might have afterwards. I use loopers and effects to try and get things done. And for one thing, okay, basically, here's how the Didge works, right? It's a tube. There's nothing inside. It's just a big hollow tube. And when you blow a raspberry into it, like, you get a sound. So let's try that basic sound. So I wasn't using my voice or anything. I'm just like blowing that raspberry. You get this. And then if I use my voice, ha, 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 to sing complementary notes that go with the note on the Didge or make barking sounds like boo, boo, you get sounds like this. And then like whistling, when you whistle, you move your tongue forward and back like. So without a voice, if I move my tongue around, I get these sounds. And you put all those together. And that's a crash course in how to make sounds with the didgeridoo. The other thing you might have heard of is circular breathing. I'll demonstrate that really quick. Breathe in through your nose and blow out through your mouth at the same time when you play this instrument, so you can continuously play without stopping to take a breath. And I'll do that for a quick second like this. Watch for, I'll point to my nose when I inhale. Okay, guys? All right, see what I mean so far? Got it?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So those are the basics of it. Now, I'll do a quick jam using those elements and some of the stuff that I throw into it that might be considered in the funk range. We'll see what happens. Let's see what's something like. One more time. All right, now that's looped down there on the ground. So I got that channel that I can jam with. That's a little effects I like to throw in there. Check it out. You see? Loop another layer on there. Get crazy with There you go. How's that for a little jam?
That was so fun. That was awesome.
You got to go on for hours like that. It's so much fun.
Yeah, do you just ever get like lost in doing that? And you're just like, whoa, where am I even at in this musical universe?
Yeah, that's kind of the point. You know, it's like, that's kind of why the Urban Shaman, that's kind of the trancing out into the music and like letting improvisation happen in the moment, and is kind of the spirit of what we do. That's how we jam.
Awesome. I'm glad you mentioned the word improvisation, because we have we've been kind of hearing that a lot with like jazz a couple weeks ago, and we even had a soul singer on who was talking about it a little bit in R&B, and it's just a big part of music. It's just like not really having a real game plan, but just coming up with it in the moment. You know, that's music.
Yeah, yeah. We usually use sort of an outline, and then work around that. And a lot of music theory. We get deep into music theory.
Right. Well, we have some kids that have just a couple questions. If we could just take a quick pause on
Yeah.
Is that cool? All right. Does everybody remember their questions that they either had, practiced already or were emailed or anything? Let's start with Kaylee and see what she has for her question.
Okay. Have you ever been to Oregon?
Nope. McMinnville, remember?
McMinnville. Have you ever been to McMinnville?
Yes, McMinnville is one of my favorite places. I go to the UFO festival every year, except last year, of course. Yeah, and the Hotel Oregon and the Turkey Rama. We played it in McMinnville as well. Yeah, it's one of my favorite places.
And yeah, honestly, I know the answer to that, but that's the first place I saw you. I was thinking, this dude is good. You were just on like the corner and you had this giant crowd around you, and it just fit with the UFO festival and all the kind of weirdness going on or fun, whatever you want to consider it. And it was like perfect.
Yep, that's what we call busking, street performance that we do there. It's a lot of what we do is just set up on the street and just draw a crowd and make events happen in the moment like that. So yeah, busking.
I bet in Portland you have some interesting stories, which would probably require a whole nother Zoom session probably, but
we want to do a whole web mini series about all the stuff that happens.
Yeah, I watched this YouTube video of you getting interrupted by this guy who was like, he just like grabbed the microphone and started singing. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it worked, but I was like, that's pretty risque to just like grab the dude's microphone and start singing, you know?
You got it. Like that's the improv thing. You got to be able to just roll with whatever happens. You just never know.
You should totally get that guy to help you make, put him on an album with you or something. You never know. Could sell like big time in India.
Yeah.
All right, Crispin, do you have your question available? I sent it to you in the chat because Mr. Urban Shaman already kind of talked about it a little bit, but this might be a good way to ask this question. It's in our chat, sir.
How long does it take to learn how to circle breathing?
Oh, I can help. So it depends, different people. It took me about a month with nothing else to do. It took my younger brother about 3 years, just trying it on and off. But I can, so it depends on the person, but like, I can tell you, I can tell you how my trick for circular breathing, right? To understand, it's really quick. Because normally you're thinking, how do I inhale and exhale at the same time, right? You just have your lungs here. You can't inhale through the left lung and exhale through the right one. Like, what's going on? How do you do that? But it's basically like this. If my mouth was full of water, my cheeks puffed out, I can breathe through my nose like that, right? I'll demonstrate. Piece of cake, right? Mouth full of water, all cheeks puffed out, you can breathe through your nose. So if I'm in one of those inhales, when I'm breathing through my nose, if I squirt some of the water out of my mouth, like this, that is circular breathing. So you get the idea. And to put it together, like this. It's pretty ridiculous, but that's the idea. It's like you're squirting water out of your mouth while you're breathing through your nose, and it's like this weird mental barrier you have to get over in order to figure out the trick. And some people it takes longer than others, but if you ever want to try it, that's the basic idea. I learned on plastic pipe from the hardware store. This is a cardboard tube that I picked up recently, and if I go, and there you go. You heard that, right?
Yeah, barely at the end we could.
Okay, yeah, but that's basically it. It's a tube, blow a raspberry into it, squirt water out of your mouth while you're breathing through your nose.
It sounds easier than it really is, but yeah. All right, Mr. Shaman. Yeah, I see you got your guitar there. You got all kinds of instruments around you. So yeah, another jam would be sweet.
Okay, I'm gonna try and do something that's like what our reggae vibe song is. Okay,
All right.
let's see what happens. I'm gonna start with a beat from here. In the absence of a drummer, I can use my electronic drum machine. See? All right. Start by getting my beat down here. And alrighty. Check 1, 2. See? You know, you gotta have a laid back tempo. About 75, 80 BPMs. Nice, lots of space in there between the kick and the snare. A little bass line to give it a groove. And then we'll come in with a little. There we go, right? It's got that little bounce to it now. All right. Now let me put a little Didge in there, see how that goes. were playing on the street one day, when all of a sudden it started to look like it would rain. That's just the kind of thing that can ruin our day. We need the sunshine if we want to get paid, so we're calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Calling out the sunshine. We need the sunshine to have a good time. Hey, that's our reggae song. What do you think?
That was so fun. That was awesome.
All right. Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun. And we called out the sunshine, you know?
It
Song's all
worked.
about we need the sunshine to go out and play music on the street, you know, and it's nice when it happens. Cool.
Yeah.
Very fun.
I just got to say, I think it's so amazing when like one human can make all of that music happening at once and it sounds pleasing. You know, you're not like standing next to the bass player and the electric guitar player and the drummer in the back and just doing just one element. You're doing it all. It's awesome.
Yeah, I really like it's really fun to do that, you know, and the looper makes it possible, and just I'm constantly trying to utilize my technology more to get more variety in the sound so it sounds like a whole band, you know.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple more questions. The
Shoot.
jamming is awesome though, but let's see if our kids got a couple more questions and then maybe take us out in the jam and we'll be on our way. Does that sound good?
That sounds splendid.
All right, you've been awesome. I know that we had Jack with a question in our classroom. Jack, are you able to ask your question today? It's a really easy one. I mean, just a few words. You got this. Get my view here. All right. Got a lot of kids in here. It's hard to manage all this. See all these names. 2 giant pages. There you are. Hey, Jack, can you ask that question that I sent you in the chat that we rehearsed a little bit? Remember that one? Maybe screen's on. That's good. Are you there, bud? Can you just unmute and ask that question for the Urban Shaman? Because I'm curious what his answer would be. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. Devin, do you remember the question that I had you think about? No? Okay, lost it. All right. Xander, do you remember your question? It's a good one.
When did you get your first didgeridoo?
Nice.
Oh, thanks for asking the question, Xander. That's awesome. So I got my first didgeridoo in about the year 2000, and it was plastic pipe from the hardware store. That's all I had. Like just like this cardboard tube I showed you guys. I had a piece of, they call it ABS. It's black plumbing tubing from the hardware store, about this tall. And a friend showed me that you could make sounds like a didgeridoo through it, like I was saying, with like. And so I was just carrying around this ABS pipe, just a plastic pipe, and blowing raspberries through it, figuring out how to make sounds. And then at about 2003, I went to a didgeridoo festival with my plastic pipe and played music in an open mic there. And then a didge maker who makes real didgeridoos like these came up to me and was like, "Here, you should have a real didgeridoo." And it just went on from there. So my first didge got about 2000 for about $2 from the hardware store. And here it is, 2021, and I have a few more didgeridoos now.
Some of those didgeridoos, they're huge, and I imagine you have to be really careful when you carry them, or you probably have to clean them or wax them. How do you take care of one of those things? Look at that thing. Well, that's a hype, yeah.
This is agave cactus, actually. You know, like it grows in Arizona. This is the flower stalk of the century plant. It's just a cactus that puts up this big flower stalk. Then the whole plant dies, and they pick up the dried flower stalk off the ground, split it, hollow it out, and make it into a didgeridoo. So it's not quite finished, but it's a good example.
Wow, I've never really quite considered it until now that the earth has given us the ability to make music. Like, just got to go find a
it just
cactus.
grows like that, you know, like this here, another example of a didgeridoo that came from right here in Oregon, and it is just an oak tree tree limb. You know, he just found a tree limb on the ground and did the same thing, split it in half. It was really difficult to split this one in half. Hollowed out the two pieces and then glued it back together. And, you know, and it makes a didgeridoo, you know. I wanted to show you guys one other didge. Check it out. This is a box didgeridoo. There's, just like how long this one is, it's inside here, goes back and forth. It's all wrapped up inside there, different chambers. So just like as long as this didge is, it's all in here, and you get a sound like this. And so, yeah, check that. Look at that difference. You know, that twisty branch, cardboard tube from the cardboard tube, agave cactus, and some planks of wood. I've seen them made out of carpet, leather, like anything that's a tube, you can play as a didgeridoo. So, pro tip, try it out.
So we can go at home. We can look for some things to make our own didgeridoos. Maybe we'll do that next week. That would be fun to do.
Totally. Yeah. Like every Christmas, I tell everybody to make sure and get their own didgeridoo from the wrapping paper that's left over, you know, tubes from the wrapping paper.
There you
They're
go.
didgeridoos.
All right, I'm going to go back to Jack and see if he's ready for this question. I don't want to give up on him. Jack, you got this one? I know you can do it.
How do you beatbox?
Oh, hey, I can tell you about that.
Good job,
So,
buddy.
so there's like two different things with beatboxing to keep in mind. One is when you're not on a microphone like I am right now, and you're just hanging out, you know, like, and you've got some time, you just start messing around. You're like, you start making sounds like T sounds, like t, 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 like snares and p, 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 or like bass, you know, like you can hit the roof of your mouth with your tongue, like, and you just sort of mess around and experiment. But then once you get onto a microphone, it's a little bit of a different thing. So as far as how do you beatbox, I recommend practicing with a microphone, and then you have to get right on it, and then get some different sound like this. And see how that has more of a punch, like it has more of an impact, and some sounds are brighter and quieter. If I try and do it back here, like, so it's just all about messing around. Like there is no one way to do it, but if you want to practice, if you want to try beatboxing, get a microphone somehow and practice with a microphone is what I'd recommend. That's really how you do it. That's really how you teach yourself, is on a microphone. Hope that helps.
Excellent. So next year for Christmas, guys, ask for a microphone and save the wrapping tube, and you never know.
Yeah, a little karaoke set, one of those little standalone speakers with a microphone. One of those in the cardboard tube, and you'll be out on the street taking money away from me.
We'll stay in our lane. We'll stay down here in McMinnville, all right? All right, man. Yeah, we're a little late for our next class, but we've had a lot of fun. So If you're able to take us out with one more jam and then we'll be on our way, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll just play you out with a little thing we call the didgeridoo disco. Oh, you want a faster tempo?
Love it.
Hey, open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, I can like a bone. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, I can like a bone. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, I can like a bone. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, I can like a bone. Everybody walk I can like a bone. Everybody walk I can like a bone. Open the door, I can like a bone. I can like a bone. I can like a boom, boom, boom. I can like a boom, 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 boom. I can like a boom, boom, boom. I can like a boom, boom. I can like a boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. I can like a boom, boom, boom. I can like get. Everybody walk the open the door. Get. Everybody walk the open the door. Get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door. Get on the floor, 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 floor. Get on the floor, floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor, 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 floor. Open the door, get on the floor, 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 get on the floor, floor, floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. I can do this all day.
And I believe you probably have. Walk the dinosaur.
still there?
Yeah.
I thought I was playing you guys out.
Oh yeah. No, you're good. We want to say goodbye and thank you. You know that, right?
Yes.
So yeah, man. We hope that this virus settles down a bit and we can have our UFO festival this year, and we'll see you on the streets of McMinnville, and hopefully some of these students can get down and check you out because that's a good time, you know.
We'll be there. If it's on, we'll be there. Even if we have to draw a chalk circle around us.
Yeah, I live close enough. I will just hear the didgeridoo and come running. So, but yeah, let us know when you're coming because I'll let my students know, all these students know when you're going to be there. And you got some new fans, so we'll come on down and check you out.
I appreciate you guys having me. This has been a real fun. You know, this has been like a real show again. So thanks.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for being here. And I guarantee we are the only middle school in the country that just did a didgeridoo disco for like the last 5 minutes. So
I hope you guys are dancing wherever you're at.
oh yeah, I saw them on the screens. They were dancing. But all right, Mr. Shaman, we'll let you go back to your day. Again, thank you so much for being a part of our classroom. We really, really appreciate you.
Thanks again, guys.